This is CBC Here and Now.
They kicked us while we were down. They made us feel ostracized, and it was a long time before we even wanted to leave the house. It's my 10-year-old son. He's already been through so much, and he shouldn't have to witness stuff like this.
Targeted by the town of Bay Bulls.
He says council has treated him unfairly for years and keeps taking his property.
Well, the remnants of Ida are already bringing some rain and wind to parts of the province, and the weekend looks like it will stay unsettled.
It's often believed that once charges are laid, an investigation comes to a close, but that is not the case.
Captured on camera.
Police look for witnesses in last week's downtown death.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Jeremy Eaton.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. We begin tonight with a dispute in Bay Bulls.
Four years ago, their lives were torn apart by the loss and suspected homicide of Courtney Lake. This week, Jason Pike says he and his son have suffered another blow, one that has made them feel like outsiders in their own home. Here and Now's Chrissy Holmes has our top story.
This is what the town of Bay Bulls does to people that can't afford to fight back against them.
Workers from the town arrived Wednesday morning, and over 2 hours.
And they removed everything. Yeah. That's my child watching all of their stuff being taken. I think it's the most demeaning thing in the world when you know that the child that looks to you for everything looks at you and wonders why you can't stop them from taking his things. Isn't it enough that he lost his mother? Now they're taking my bike. Took my lawnmower. Took my snowblower.
Before Bay Bulls sent workers to clean up the property, they sent cleanup orders. One in 2017, another this past April. An order to remove all debris, garbage from the property, including unregistered or derelict vehicles within 14 days. The town included pictures of the property and quoted sections of the law, stating if Pike or his landlord didn't clean up, the town would, at the owner's expense. Pike says he did clean up some, but he has health issues. He purchased a carport, a place to put his belongings. Pike says he was in the process of assembling it when the workers came and took that, too.
Before you can look around here, this is what you see right here in this little area. This is our space.
There is no backyard.
There's no backyard.
Pike says his health worsened in the spring. He was sent back to hospital in August. When he came home, he was served with legal papers, given orders by the town, but also under orders from his doctor.
Don't lift anything and stay off your feet.
So why now?
It's never stopped. And they know that I've been hospitalized.
Pike says he was outside this week when the workers arrived. Pike says he could barely walk, and he had his lawn chair nearby for support.
A few minutes work, a few minutes break, sit down because my leg was burning. As I was whippersnipping, they went to take my chair and put it on their trailer. And I'm like, hold on a second there, fellas. And when I went to sit in my chair and lay down my whippersnipper, they tried to take my whippersnipper.
He says he wasn't prepared for what happened next.
This is the town of Bay Bulls trying to remove his basketball net from him live. And they started taking his things. And I watched my child sit on his basketball on the other side of the road, looking at me wondering why I couldn't stop them from taking his things. And he walked over and sat on his basketball net. And they still proceeded to try to move it. All the kid stuff that was around the yard they took. When this all happened today, I made him go back in the house. And I sat in my vehicle for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, he came back out to the van and he said, Dad, he said, you really need to come back in the house. I'm really worried about you. It's my 10-year-old son. He's already been through so much and he shouldn't have to witness stuff like this.
Oliver hasn't had it easy with the loss of his mom, but Pike says sports have been good for his son.
We moved in here 11 years ago when myself and Courtney Lake were pregnant with our son Oliver. And that relationship eventually came to an end, and she moved back to town and I stayed here. Several years later, I took custody of our child. The problems really began here in about 2017, I guess. That's when Courtney first disappeared, and the police eventually ruled her death a murder, or her disappearance, a murder. While this is all going on, my health has deteriorated quite significantly.
Pike says living in a small town became tough.
When you lose somebody to violence, it changes you. And you would think, when something so tragic like that happens, that your neighbors and your community would rally around you and support you. But that wasn't the case. They kicked us while we were down. They made us feel ostracized, and it was a long time before we even wanted to leave the house. Hug.
The one item the town did leave was this bench.
Oliver wanted to do something around here for his mom. So we found an old bench and we painted it purple. It's something for him that provides comfort in a place that has no comfort for us anymore.
CBC reached out to the town of Bay Bulls for comment. It declined, saying it has an obligation to protect the privacy of his residents. As for Pike, he says he's stuck. He doesn't have the money to get his stuff back from the town, and he can't afford to move.
My health is getting worse, and if anything happens to me, what happens to him? Then what? Because the stress is not helping my life, I can tell you that now.
Chrissy Holmes, CBC News, Bay Bulls.
In other news tonight, there are 5 new cases of COVID-19 in the province, as well as a number of public advisories to share with you. 3 of today's cases are in the Eastern Health region. 2 of those are tied to international travel. The other is a contact of a previous case. There's 1 new case in Central Newfoundland related to travel within Canada. The other case is in the Western Health region and is also tied to Canadian travel. We have 29 active cases in the province. Now to some of those advisories about potential COVID exposure sites. Public Health is advising anyone who visited the following locations to arrange for testing. Foodland in Bonavista on Monday, August 23rd between 5:30 and 6 p.m. Bonavista Pharma Choice on Thursday, August 26th between 3 and 3:30 p.m. In St. John's, the Rec Room in the Avalon Mall last Friday, the 27th between 6 and 7 p.m. Cineplex Movie Theater at the Avalon Mall on that same date between 7 and 9 p.m. Get Air Trampoline Park on Sunday, the 29th between 1 and 3 p.m. And lastly, Jumping Bean on Elizabeth Avenue in St. John's on September 1st between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. Eastern Health is offering a temporary testing clinic for residents of Bonavista this weekend. Testing is by appointment and will be held at the Bonavista Lions Club parking lot. That's Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Well, it is humid out there, especially for eastern areas of the province. Gander, well, St. John's at one point was the warmest spot across Canada, and then Gander took that over earlier this afternoon. But Humidex values felt more like 32 in St. John's earlier today, and similar, about 33 in Gander. Now, we're seeing that muggy weather right now, but that is going to end as we head through the night tonight. We're going to see that push of moisture move off, and that is from the remnants of Ida. And then we're looking at some pretty comfy or dry days over the next week or so. So what we have right now is the actual area of low pressure. You can see it spinning here on the satellite, but all of that moisture out ahead of it. So that's why we're seeing those periods of rain, or saw those periods of rain earlier today. We're going to continue to do that as we head through the evening hours tonight. Also the risk of some thunderstorms, but I'll get into the full forecast when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, there is a new development this evening in the violent death that occurred in downtown St. John's last week. Police investigators issued a call for assistance this morning, and they have a special interest in speaking with the occupant or occupants of a particular vehicle. Terry Roberts reports.
This vehicle was captured on closed circuit TV as it drove along Carter's Hill on the evening of August 26th. Police officers believe those inside can help with the investigation into the violent and bloody death of 49-year-old James Corcoran.
So the vehicle, a red GMC Terrain SUV, was captured in the area of Carter's Hill with CCTV footage around the time of the event. And we believe that the occupants of that vehicle would have information related to the events leading to the death of Mr. Corcoran.
Police are looking for anyone who may have closed-circuit TV, dash cam footage, or cell phone footage of this area on that night in particular to come forward. Also, if you're a witness or you have information and you have not yet spoken to police, they also want to talk to you.
We are asking the community to consider that any piece of information that might assist this investigation be brought forward. You know, it's often believed that once charges are laid, an investigation comes to a close, but that is not the case.
This neighborhood has been traumatized by this homicide. It's an area populated by families, and this happened at a time when people were returning from their workdays and preparing their evening meals.
Events of this nature are frightening, they're traumatic, and the lasting effects of an event of this nature, we have to ensure that we address those issues. And that's why we're imploring upon the community to reach out. There's community groups to support you.
Officers responded to the scene within minutes, but James Corcoran was later pronounced dead at the scene. 28-year-old Lorraine Obed is charged with second-degree murder and remains in custody. She has a St. John's address, but has roots in Labrador, according to her social media profile. Police are not revealing the cause of death and will only say that Corcoran and Obed were known to each other. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
The RNC is warning people on the West Coast about an active scam. Police have received several reports of a man in Corner Brook taking money to do home maintenance work, but not following through. Police say he's about 40 years old and approaches homeowners offering an array of services at reduced prices. He requests an upfront payment, begins the work, and then leaves the job incomplete. The RNC recommends people research any person or contractor before hiring them.
Well, the verdict is still out on a proposed seal processing plant on the southern shore. Yesterday, we heard from residents who say they haven't been properly consulted. They don't want a plant in Torres Cove. The Department of Environment and Climate Change issued a statement today saying the process is behind schedule. It says an environmental assessment was set for July, which included a period of public consultation. Now, the minister was expected to make a ruling by the end of August, but that deadline has been extended by 2 weeks. The department says the minister will consider all questions and concerns before making a decision on the proposal.
Have you ever heard of an Automaton? Sounds like a transformer, but it's actually more like a moving diorama.
Yes, well, an 84-year-old has made and donated nearly 100 automatons to the Labrador Heritage Museum in Northwest River, and this year he added 10 to the collection. Here now's Regan Burden has more.
It all started when Elmer Licata donated a model he made of the Bonavista, a ship that once traveled along coastal Labrador, to the Labrador Heritage Museum.
Carol said, well, why don't we see if the museum in Northwest River would like it. So we contacted Ernie and he said yes.
It was that first donation that got Licata started, and he hasn't stopped since.
I built a lot of things at home, lots of ships and things. Carol would always say to me, where are you going to put that? And we had them in the bedrooms and all over the place. And so finally, this museum became an excuse to build whatever I wanted because we didn't have to store it, we didn't have to keep it, it was going someplace. And so that's kind of the way it started.
Licata says that his wife Carol is his biggest critic and always makes sure that everything looks just right. And of all of his creations, from duck hunting to sewing, To someone in an outhouse, there is one that sticks out as a favorite.
I think the bread one, the bread in the pans, it's right behind here. Because it reminds me of my mother so much. Poor Mom had to bake in the heat in summer in a wood stove. Can you imagine? 10 loaves of bread a day, and they're all gone the next day.
The Automatons are inspired by the couple's collection of historical books about Labrador and their memories. He's even made one of the dance hall where they first met.
Gosh, well, you can see they're just models of mostly historic things, happenings in Northwest River.
In the heyday.
In the heydays, yeah. And the culture, basically. Try to capture the way things used to be.
Licata paints the scenes himself and even makes the clothing for the figures. But there is a little bit of work when it comes to getting them to move the way he wants them to.
I use what I can get off the internet as far as the bodies go, but they never lend themselves because the bodies are all stiff. So I have to break all the joints, put in little hinges or eye bolts or whatever so they can be completely limber so that the motor can make them move, without any resistance.
Despite all the work involved, Licata has no plans to slow down. He says the biggest challenge is coming up with new ideas. Reagan Burden, CBC News, Northwest River.
Honestly, I feel like she saved us more than we saved her.
Saving Salukis from overseas and giving greyhounds a new loving home. A local group is relaunching its dog adoption program. We'll have all the details coming up.
Yeah, it looks like we're starting to see a little bit of peaks of sun out there right now. That's pretty much going to be what we're going to see through the weekend. I'll have the full forecast when I come back. Well, this is what it looked like outside the CBC building in Corner Brook this morning. Thanks to Brian McHugh for this early morning video. Lots of rain and high winds.
Wow, it's really coming down out there.
Yeah, it's hard to capture it with the video, but with those strong winds and heavy rain, certainly looked something we haven't seen in a long time, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Said for sure at the same
Same
time. So how much rain fell, do you know?
It was quite a bit for most of eastern, or rather western areas, and then through central. Let's take a look at that. Rodney Barney just posted this for us. Look at that. Let's see, 66.8 millimeters of rain fell over the last 26 hours. Pretty similar to that in Springdale, Pasadena, Badger, Grand Falls, Windsor, seeing about 54 millimeters of rain. And then as he headed further east, those rainfall amounts dropped off slightly. So a good 40 to 70 millimeters fell. That was pretty much what was forecasted through the day yesterday, and those strong winds as well. But today, much cooler for parts of western areas of the island, as we saw some cooler air move in, or rather that flow, northerly flow. And then tropical for eastern areas. Gander, 25 degrees, 24 in St. John's. And these were actually, at one point, the warmest temperatures across the country, in fact. And then factor in that all that humidex or humidity, it felt more like 30. It still feels more like 30 here in St. John's. Those temperatures have dropped a little bit now, currently sitting at 22 degrees, 23 in Gander, similar for Bonavista. But again, those temperatures much cooler as you head west and north, only up into the single digits for Makkovik right now. So what we have, that area of low pressure, all that moisture out ahead of it is still in play, at least through the night tonight. We're still seeing some periods of rain. You can see that just moving into the satellite as well along southern portions of the island right now. We're going to see that generally continue tonight as some periods of rain will continue to move in. That area of low pressure is going to move closer, but all of that moisture looks like we're going to see some of the heaviest rain move in towards the early morning hours for eastern areas of the island. Otherwise, scattered showers a story tonight, and then even for southeastern Labrador, you're going to see that. And with that comes the risk of some thunderstorms. So we had the risk of thunderstorms pretty much all day today. Didn't see too much of that, but that risk will still continue. More than likely when that heavy rain moves through, we could hear a few rumbles of thunder, but that will happen mainly through the overnight tonight and the early morning hours tomorrow. Temperatures tonight, about 10 to 15 degrees. The winds will ease as well. Single-digit temperatures up across Labrador. Nain at 6 degrees tonight, 2 in Lab City. Again, that risk of frost as we head through the overnight tonight. So tomorrow, the area of low pressure still very much in play. We're going to see the majority of that moisture move off fairly quickly into the afternoon, which means we could actually and likely will see some peaks of sun as the afternoon rolls through. Still going to see that area of scattered showers, though, through central, western areas as well as southeastern portions of Labrador. That's where we should see the majority of the rain as the day goes on, or more consistent rain, and then potentially for some showers again as the day goes on, as that area of low pressure starts to roll through. You can see that rotation, counterclockwise rotation as that area of low pressure moves through. But then we see the wind shift. As we see that northerly wind, that means those temperatures are going to drop with it as well. So temperatures tomorrow are going to be fairly cool through portions of central. We're going to hang on to the teens, though, for eastern Newfoundland as the day goes on. 17 degrees for St. John's. We're going to say goodbye to that humidity, though. 18 degrees in Clarenville. And then temperatures for the first half of the day anyway, 21 degrees for Gander, 20 in Grand Falls, Windsor. And then as we head towards the west coast, temperatures will be in the teens. Winds, not a whole lot to speak of, about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Northern Peninsula, a little cooler, 11 degrees. Same thing for southeastern Labrador. And then the best weather looks like it should be for northern and western Labrador. Temperatures in the teens, winds out of the northeast, and cooler temperatures. That means cooler temperatures, but lots of sunshine. So as that area of low pressure moves through, winds are going to shift. That means cooler temperatures are going to move in for the rest of the weekend. I'll get into those details when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, lots of people have been interested in adopting a dog during this pandemic, and now that travel restrictions have eased, one local group is relaunching a program that matches four-legged friends with loving owners. Greyhound Pets NL finds home for those retired racer dogs, but it also has branched out to rescue other sighthound breeds from places as far away as Qatar. I met up with the group's president, Kim Powell, and some of her friends at a dog park in Paradise.
I'm the president of Greyhound Pets NL, and we were actually started back in the late 90s with Pat Cowan, who brought in the first retired racing greyhound to Newfoundland through Greyhound Pets of Atlantic Canada. Greyhounds just make awesome pets, and these two boys are mine, Titan and Douglas. And you know, it's a passion, really. Sighthounds are just phenomenal. The U.S. racing industry is really, well, it's in the process of shutting down. It's no longer legal to race in the state of Florida. There's only 4 tracks now in the U.S., with 2 slotted to close by the end of 2022. With the pandemic, we haven't placed dogs in the past 2 years. Since March, we will have placed 6 dogs. So we're starting now, flights are going. Sighthounds still need homes. We're looking at bringing in retired racing Irish greyhounds from Dublin and the UK. But with the pandemic going on, we can't get them over. So we have reached out to Salukis from Qatar, also a sighthound breed. And because the flights were still arriving from Qatar during the pandemic. So by September 9th, we will have 5 Salukis here.
And who is this?
This is Hope. She is our 7-year-old Saluki. Essentially, I would describe them as the Arabian Greyhound. They are just a little bit smaller than a Greyhound and have a more rounded nose. She is the most gentle soul I've ever met in a dog. She's very social. She loves our other dog, Ani, and she pretty much just lies down all day.
And loves to be loved?
She absolutely loves to be loved. She'll sleep with me in my bed at night.
With all sighthounds, they generally have large litters, anywhere between 7 and 12 puppies. So, you know, not all make good hunters, not all make good racers. Many are just discarded. So, generally in Qatar, and you know, we don't know how true it is, but a lot of them get their ears docked, which could mean a sign of ownership, or they do it for hunting purposes or for racing purposes. So we have Hope here. She just arrived 3 months ago through East Coast Saluki, and her ears are docked, but she's very loving.
It is very difficult, but her ears are still adorable and she looks like a little mouse from behind.
A lot of people looking for dogs, for pets during the pandemic. Are you expecting some interest, some growing interest from people?
We do. We've had a lot of interest since we've relaunched our website, and more traffic in our Facebook group, GPNL. And we do have a lot of applications. All of our Salukis have homes waiting for them. You know, it's a screening process, a telephone interview, a home visit. So, you know, it is quite detailed.
What is it about them? You clearly have a love for greyhounds.
They're really good natured. They're good with other dogs as a rule. And yeah, they're just phenomenal. I've never had cats, but some may say it's like living with big cats. They sleep a lot, they eat, you know, they'll walk.
So if someone is interested in applying for a greyhound or a Saluki, how would they do that?
There is a direct link to our applications on our website, gpnl.ca. They can also private message any of the board members in our Facebook group. If anyone is interested in meeting a hound, we will have all kinds of sighthounds in Barring Park for the Great Global Greyhound Walk on September 19th. So if you're curious about Salukis or greyhounds or whippets, come on out and you know,
talk to some owners. Oh, they're so sweet.
Get your application in, Carolyn.
It must feel pretty good for you to know that you have saved her.
Honestly, I feel like she saved us more than we saved her. She came in at a point where we all really needed her in our lives, and she's been this big ray of, well, hope. They are the best companions. All they want to do is sit around and be loved all day. They're definitely not meant for someone with a super duper active lifestyle because they spend most of their time sleeping. But if you're looking for a companion, Greyhound or Saluki is the way to go.
So if someone were to ask you if they should get a Saluki, you would say?
I would say absolutely.
Team Canada's men's rugby team will be playing against the United States of America here in St. John's on Saturday as part of the qualifying process for the World Cup.
You never really thought that you'd get to play an international match on your home club in St. John's, Newfoundland, and having that opportunity is going to be amazing.
I'll have that story coming up after the break. Back to Here and Now. Tomorrow on this rugby pitch here at Swiler's in St. John's, Team Canada's men's rugby team will be playing the biggest game that it's had in about 2 years. It's a World Cup qualifying match against the United States of America. And while this is an international event, of course, there's some local connections.
To be fair, I don't really know the age. Is at such a young age, maybe 6th to 8th, but I have 3 older brothers. Dad's heavily involved in rugby as well, so If they're at the rugby field, I was there with them. Dad would be taking me along, so I've been involved with rugby since I can remember. I've been growing up here playing since I was such a young kid, and you never really thought that you'd get to play an international match on your home club in St. John's, Newfoundland, and having that opportunity is going to be amazing. I hope I get that chance, and excited to play in front of enthusiastic home crowd.
Well, I wouldn't say I was roped into it because I've loved every minute of it, but I'm a physiotherapist in town, and Rugby Canada had a hard time having 2 people stay for the entire duration of the trip, and the staff likes having a healthcare professional that has been with the guys the whole time, so if there's any fluctuation, someone's been there the whole time. So I got a call from Kingsley Jones beginning of October, and he said, "Do you want to come out?" And I jumped on the opportunity, and I'm loving it. It's amazing. I haven't touched a rugby ball since March 2020, so then I get to come out and run around with the best players in the country. Some of these guys are legit too, so I've had a lot of fun.
And what's it been like getting to hang out with your brother the last couple of weeks in an environment like this?
It's amazing to see. So I know he's a fantastic rugby player. He's playing professional rugby at this stage, and to see the way the guys actually listen to him when he speaks in a team setting is impressive. He's definitely a leader on this team, and I hope that he will be for maybe to the next World Cup.
Oh, it's been great. It feels like home. You know, I'm from Wales, and I often miss the characters, but I met plenty of characters on the trip, whether it be someone serving the food or the bus driver. So yeah, they've made us feel really welcome. You know, good training venue. An old adversary of mine as well, Rod Snow, seen him daily in reception. Rod played in a Welsh club a few years ago, not too far from mine, and it was the local derby, so it was great to see Rod. Always a tough adversary. So no, it's good to be here, and for the people of St. John's, players are really enjoying it, and of course we've got some guys from St. John's themselves who are excited to be involved.
Seems like a great crowd from our open session, so stoked to play in front of you guys.
Yeah, from what we heard, the St. John's people really love their Canadian rugby for sure. I think it's going to be great.
How big of a deal is this game tomorrow, Coach?
It's a big thing. You know, we've been looking at it for 2 years since the last World Cup. There were some different changes. We were expecting to play in a league system for the top 2 to go through the World Cup. That changed due to COVID, so we're in a situation where we have obviously aggregate games against the USA home and away, and then against the South American opposition as well to still go through as America's 2. So it's huge. It's what we all pinnacle of rugby is to play in a Rugby World Cup every 4-year cycle. Canada, of course, have an amazing record of appearing in every World Cup, and we obviously don't want to fail. It was a challenge last time, but we made it through, and we obviously intend to do that with our first bite at the cherry, which starts tomorrow.
Because you have all that support, you're just more so excited than nervous to play. You make a mistake, they're going to try to lift you up. They're going to cheer you on, get back up, and just get on with the game. So it's more so just trying to go out there and perform and put on a show for the home crowd, and you know that they have your back at the end of the day. So it's more so excitement than nerves.
Those were some giant human beings.
Yes.
Not gonna lie to you. But if you're looking to get tickets for that game tomorrow, you're already out of luck.
Yeah, clearly a big fan base here. Attendance has been capped at 1,200 people, and they were sold out as of this morning.
Now game time is 3 p.m. Federal party leaders were back on the campaign trail today following last night's French language debate. In Montreal, Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole talked about his party's strategy for combating crime.
We're going to maintain the ban on assault weapons. We're also, as I announced today, going to actually stop the illegal smuggling of American firearms into Canada.
O'Toole also says a Conservative government would change the criminal code to make it easier for police and prosecutors to crack down on gangs.
Before getting to a federal proof of vaccination to allow for international travel in something that could be aligned with and perhaps inserted in your Canadian passport, we have to work with the provinces anyway to get that information. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau says if he was re-elected, his government would certify provincial vaccine passports for use in international travel as an interim measure until a national one is introduced. He said a national passport would require work at the provincial level because provinces oversee healthcare.
We've got programs that we want to put in place. Quebec would always have the right to withdraw from those programs, but there's specific programs that we believe if we work together, we could deliver and it would be in everyone's benefit.
In Quebec City, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh promised his party would respond to calls for bigger healthcare transfers. The provinces want the federal government to boost healthcare funding by at least $28 billion a year, but Singh wouldn't endorse the Quebec premier's demand that the healthcare funding be unconditional for Quebec. In the late 1970s and 80s, tens of thousands of people fled Vietnam after the American military withdrew from the country. As Canada prepares to receive Afghan families, many former refugees say this country should do everything it can to help. The CBC's Farah Morali has more.
The images of Afghans desperately trying to flee Kabul are hard to watch, but they hit home in a different way for Kian Do.
The image of the last airplane that left Afghanistan remind me so much of the last helicopter that left U.S. Embassy in Saigon in 1975. With many people are still, like standing on the ground, looking up.
Do fled Vietnam alone on an 18 by 3.5 meter boat with 300 other people. At age 17, he was accepted to Canada after a few months at a refugee camp in Malaysia. He says the experience fleeing changed him.
On that boat, I realized that I was alone. I'm gonna do whatever I have to survive. And it was horrible.
I was in disbelief myself because, this is exactly what happened before. To me, it's just amazing, in one sense that history could repeat itself just like that.
Hai Pham fled Saigon on a boat that later capsized, killing 6 people. He spent a year at an Indonesian refugee camp where he learned English and was interviewed by Canadian immigration officials.
The minute I got accepted by the Canadian immigration group, I still remember that moment. It was a very, very happy moment, of my life. I still remember that moment.
A Canadian team is in Malaysia to screen the refugees who will settle here.
Tens of thousands of Vietnamese refugees came to Canada from 1975 through the 80s after U.S. troops withdrew. Many made the perilous journey on tiny boats to nearby islands. Today, a monument stands in Mississauga in honor of those who made that journey and those who were lost at sea.
I think one of the critical things is that we have to remember these are real people. They're losing a sense of self, a connection to a culture, a language, communities.
Today, an organization started by Vietnamese women in the 80s to help refugees find jobs is now gearing up to help Afghan refugees.
You may have 2 different countries. You may have, different circumstances, but the results are the same. The communists took over Vietnam in 1975. The Taliban took over Afghanistan 2021.
Do is now paying it forward. He's in talks with Ottawa to offer help to incoming Afghan refugees, and he's already helped Syrian refugees resettle in Canada while continuing to help new Vietnamese immigrants.
We know that the Vietnamese Canadian community in Canada will absolutely do everything we could to work with the government to help these Afghan refugees. So please give them a chance.
It's a second chance Do says he was offered, and a chance everyone deserves. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, time to find out who's celebrating. Congratulations to Alan and Shirley Poole of Milltown, who are celebrating 61 years of marriage. Joseph and Blanche Masters are celebrating their 72nd wedding anniversary in Grand Bank. Happy 59th anniversary to George and Bernice Clements of Bonavista. Happy 70th anniversary to John and Alma Hilliard of Cape Anguille. Best wishes to Don and Ruby Bragg of Pilley's Island on their 69th wedding anniversary.
Anniversary greetings to Abe and Lois Rideout of Buren Bay Arm. It's their 53rd wedding anniversary. Congratulations to Lloyd and Vera Bennett of Corner Brook, now living in Clarenville, on their 56th anniversary. A happy 58th anniversary to Wesley and Ann Shepherd of Corner Brook. Happy 50th anniversary to Carson and Dora Trask from Port Union. Best wishes to Marjorie and Jim Cody of Grand Falls, Windsor on their 53rd wedding anniversary.
Happy 54th anniversary to Raymond and Maxine Gouju of Corner Brook. Anniversary greetings going out to Nathaniel and Veronica Thistle from St. John's. It's their 58th anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Calvin and Bernice Miles of Paradise. Wishing Judy and Gord Howell of St. Philip's a very happy 50th wedding anniversary. Best wishes going out to Ray and Marie Cole of Churchill Falls, now living in Nova Scotia. They're celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary.
Happy 60th anniversary as well to Dyson and Vida Elms of Seal Cove, White Bay. Love from your family and friends. Happy 50th anniversary to Mary and Peter Harrison of Labrador City. A happy 55th anniversary to Fred and Ruby Starks of Mount Pearl. Wishing Howard and Daphne Bridger of Triton a happy 50th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary to Joyce and Winston Mooland. They are celebrating 54 years of marriage.
Wishing Edward and Trifina Gale from Pollard's Point a happy 55th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Huey and Irene Locke of Labrador City. Happy 61st wedding anniversary to Stan and Doris Butler of Conception Bay South. Best wishes going out to Frank and Laura Blundell of Gander on their 60th wedding anniversary. Happy 51st anniversary to Dave and Carol Taylor of Foxtrot.
Wishing Tony and Patsy Smith of St. Anthony a happy 50th anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Phyllis and Dennis Budgel of Gander. Anniversary greetings going to Boyd and Evelyn Brushett of Marystown on their 51st wedding anniversary. Jim and Kay Von Riesen of Twillingate, now living in Mount Pearl, are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. Kevin and Helen Butt of Hillgrade are celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary.
Wishing Richard and Edna Power of Marystown a very happy 50th anniversary. A happy 68th wedding anniversary for Arch and Margaret Spencer of Marystown. Happy 50th anniversary to George and Joyce Windsor of Gander, now living in Torbay. 50th wedding anniversary greetings going out to Harry and Ivy Adams. Happy 52nd anniversary to Dale and Louise Guzny of Corner Brook.
Happy 55th wedding anniversary to Mary and Gilbert Kinsella of St. Anthony. John and Daphne Roberts in Happy Valley Goose Bay are celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary. Wishing Clarence and Geraldine Butler of Long Pond CBS a happy 68th wedding anniversary. Now to some birthdays, starting with a big one. Happy 100th birthday to Mary Violet Hall of Harbor, Maine, now living in St. John's. A happy 97th birthday to Alistair Dowden, who is a Merchant Navy veteran living in St. John's.
Birthday greetings going out to Bill Davis of Collinette, who's celebrating his 91st birthday this weekend. Happy 94th birthday to Marie Wheaton of Fredericton. Happy birthday to Sadie Harris of Grand Bank, who is celebrating her 91st birthday. Best wishes to Alex Pelly from Bishop's Falls, who is celebrating his 93rd birthday. Another triple-digit birthday here. Chesley Howell of Paradise will be turning 102 on Sunday. Happy birthday.
Birthday greetings are going to Nina West of Bay Largent, now living in St. Lawrence. It's her 92nd birthday. Best wishes to Ludrick Gill on his 91st birthday. He's from Bergen's Cove and now lives in Clarenville. Happy 90th birthday to Wallace Hounsell of New West Valley. And another big one, happy 100th birthday to Ellen Rose Leonard of Placentia. Her family says she is the most beautiful rose in our garden.
Aww.
Happy 92nd birthday to Gladstone Best of New West Valley.
Happy birthday to Emma Higdon of Corner Brook, who's celebrating her 96th birthday. Happy birthday to Edith Head in Grand Falls, Windsor. She's turning 97. Congratulations to Kathleen Cochran on her 91st birthday. Love from family and friends in Flat Rock. Happy 90th birthday to Morris Blake, known to everyone as Pop. He's from Doublemare, Labrador, and now lives in Northwest River, Labrador. And a big happy birthday to Muriel Anderson. She is turning 104. She is the mother of former MHA Wally Anderson and grandmother to two MHAs in the district of Torn Gap Mountains, Randy Edmonds and Leela Evans. She has survived 2 world wars, 2 global pandemics. She's pretty much seen it all. She's from Makovic and now lives in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. impressive woman. Happy birthday once again, Muriel.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah, so looking ahead now, lots of rain. We're here in the long weekend. What's coming?
Yeah, we're going to see an unsettled long weekend for the most part. Things will improve, though, as we get into Monday. Let's take a look at the future tracker. It's thanks to that area of low pressure. It's still going to continue to affect the weather as we head through Sunday. And then note what happens with those wind barbs. We're going to start to see a more northerly flow, which means cooler temperatures. So we'll see some showers through the first half of the day on Sunday. Things should improve as the day goes on, although as far as that rain goes, but we are going to see that cloud cover generally stick around. Maybe a few peaks of sun, but overall, the best day of the long weekend looks like it will be on Monday. We'll see some mix of sun and cloud through the afternoon, and then some showers will roll back in. For Labrador, as we head through the afternoon hours and evening hours, and then eventually as we get overnight, we're going to see that chance of showers move in for the western portion of the island. So temperatures on Sunday will be much cooler. Going to feel very fall-like. 12 to 16 degrees is the daytime highs. A little warmer for Marystown at 17, but up across Labrador starting to warm up a little bit. 18 in Nain, 19 in Happy Valley Goose Bay under a mix of sun and cloud through the day. And then as we get into Monday, similar temperatures start to increase a little bit. But overall, we'll see that shower activity move in for Lab City. And then temperatures across the island looking anywhere from 16 to 19 degrees. And then that chance of showers late day for the southwest portion of the island. So I wanted to share something with you quickly. This is Hurricane Larry. Now, it is going to intensify as we head through the weekend. Looks like it will be a major hurricane by the time we get into, what is this, Monday now? Now, we're going to watch that one fairly closely. At this point, it doesn't look like we're going to see any impacts, but definitely worth watching as we head into next week. So definitely stay tuned with that forecast. Now, until we get there, though, we're going to see temperatures fairly nice into the teens as we get into Tuesday, 17 degrees, but by Wednesday, we're back up into the 20s. And then for both central and western Newfoundland, you're looking at temperatures in the 20s as well, a little bit more unsettled through midweek for western Newfoundland. And then for eastern Labrador, same thing. Tuesday, that rain will move in for you late day Monday into Tuesday. And then it looks like the beginning of next week will be fairly wet for western Labrador with your temperatures in the teens. Had to share this photo. What a great place to take a nap, Rosie, with a beautiful view behind you. This photo was sent to us by Irene in Lewisport.
This show has certainly gone to the cats and dogs tonight.
A lot of animals on this show tonight for sure.
They always make us happy. Yeah. If you have any weather photos or these kinds of photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Nice cat nap.
Man, I could use one of those.
That's Friday.
Well, it is the weekend, a long weekend at that, but Here and Now will be here on Monday. I'll be here, so we will have a show on the holiday Monday, but hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and Jeremy, you too.
Hope you two have a wonderderful weekend as well. Can I slide back in here?
He's out of here. There's a Jeremy-shaped hole in the wall.
Hey, just wanted to make sure I can see me on the other side.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.